All right, I'm going to break down Caleb Williams' first game here. And I'm just going to go through the play sequentially. I've only watched this through once while I was cutting it, to be honest. So I'll give my immediate thoughts and feedback as we roll through this. My thoughts just off of that first game. My first run through on this was that he struggled. Understandably so as a rookie. He's obviously a phenomenally talented kid. There are a couple of throws that popped off the screen initially, but there were a lot of throws that were very inaccurate, and a lot of times it seemed like it was because he's still figuring out some of the footwork and timing things that are going to be required of him in the NFL that he didn't do a lot of in college. In college, he was such an off-schedule kid. He was always scrambling. He was a kid who didn't make a lot of rhythm throws, and we'll see in this game there's very few that he makes as well. So he's trying to make that transition right now, and you could tell where he was uncomfortable with it, at least, again, the first run-through. So here's my second run-through on these plays. So basically, I'll just give my conscious stream of thought as we discuss some of this. So this was his first passing play. Again, just the easy screen. Good job from Chicago of just giving him a cheap completion just to get him going a little bit. I love seeing that from coaching staffs where they try to build the quarterback's confidence early, not just for young quarterbacks, but for any quarterback. So we see just quick turn and go. It's not an RPO. It's just a play action with an auto screen. He's not being asked to make a read. The line's all pulling that way. So, that's exactly what it should be. Pretty straightforward on that one. All right, second rep here. So here's the crazy throws that he sometimes make. I believe this one's incomplete here. If we look at the concept, he does have receivers open right now. I assume his first read here is supposed to be the shallow, and this ball it really should be thrown. I think what he's looking at right now is the pressure coming at him, and he's looking to escape. And that's one of those things that young quarterbacks, NFL, high school, college, wherever, have to learn is that your instinct when you see pressure coming to you shouldn't be get my eyes down and escape. My instinct should be, where can I get the ball out to, right? That's where we want to go with the ball. And also seeing the Will step up, seeing the Mike expand. Again, I'm not positive what reads are giving him, so I'm not sure what he's supposed to be looking at. But just going at the end zone, it did look like he did have his eye line where that shallow would have been. And so he should have known that ball needed to come out to that guy. Basically knowing he's high, he's just playing high-low off the Will with the back and the shallow here. Again, his eyes are clearly just dipping down. His eyes are definitely on that shallow right now. He should know that this guy's going to clear and that ball's going to come out, but he's not comfortable standing in, and then he looks to escape. He steps up into the pocket instead of going into the clear empty space. That was one where he could have had a cheap completion, and that's the difference between a guy who's a veteran guy in his progressions versus a rookie, which is understandable. He'll probably see the same thing on film when he goes and watch it, or already did watch it. All right, he had a shot here. Now, the first thing I'm going to point out is, just watching this play, it looks like, I'm not sure what read they're giving him, but it really looks like he should have been reading the top of the screen here, right? Just based on the leverage, right? Okay, corner's locked here, and he got 1 for 2, and 3 has great leverage on that safety in the middle of the field, and he looks like he's playing outside leverage on 2, so he's the low defender in that case. This guy's wide open. So pre-snap, my first thing is, that's the guy right now. That's where the ball has to go. But assuming that, look, his eyes go immediately left, so whatever his pre-snap key is, it's taking him to the left. Assuming that's the case, this is obviously not a particularly accurate throw. They're running the out and up, so what you'd want to see is the same timing to throw the out, which would be right now, and then you get the pump and the one hitch and the ball comes out. And right now, you already know he's beat. Even before that, he's beat. Like right now, the corner's beat. The moment he is squared shoulders forwards to try to drive on that, he's beat. So realistically, Caleb should just be taking one hitch and getting the ball out and throwing that vertical component, which it looks is just about what he does, to be fair. His back steps are long. That right foot is getting long there. I'd like to see him more settled underneath so that if he had a rhythm throw, he could throw it. We can see him almost stutter his feet a little bit into the throw, which is and that happened a lot during, again, my first run through the game. I saw that a lot where it didn't look like his feet were particularly set. See those extra little taps right there? It shows me that he's not really comfortable, right? He's not comfortable playing on schedule. He's used to throwing from unusual platforms in unusual ways. He's not used to throwing scheduled on-platform throws, and that's something he's struggling with. this definitely could have been a big hit to either side of the field, but in this case, this really should have been a 40-yard gain right here that he missed. So that's definitely not a rep that he's going to like watching on film. All right, same thing here. So we got the short out. They're just running the man out right here, right? Just fake him in and then shade him out. Keenan Allen's great at this. Great route runner that guy is. Awesome tools for Caleb to work with. It looked like part of Caleb's problem here was he didn't get the snap cleanly. It looked like he was bobbling the snap. I'd like to see this should be a 3-step rhythm throw. He's taking that extra back pedal. There's the 3 and he's wide and now he's throwing. So he's got a couple extra steps in there. I think it's just because he's bobbling the snap, but it also makes me think that it's possibly because that's just his habit. We see him do that in other places where he doesn't bobble the snap. So give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. Not the cleanest rep, but at least he gets the completion and they get the first down on fourth. Always nice to see a young guy get confidence in third and fourth down situations, which he does there. That was 4th and 3. All right, next snap here. Would have liked to see a little bit of awareness from him in snapping the ball. I know the line's he's trying to get set, but he's got to catch that guy. I think. Well, I'm not sure how realistic it is to think that he would have caught him in motion. He almost does actually to give him some credit here. He almost does catch him. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or not. I think he probably is, but hopefully he's getting a piece of him here. This is an 8-man protection right now, and he has got nothing open down the field. He's kind of hosed on this one, to be fair. He's got Cole Kmet in blocking right here. He's got another blocker, I believe, right there. So he's got in the running backs, and he's got an 8-man protection. They're running a 2-receiver concept. You've got this, and then you got the vertical component. He's got nowhere to go with this ball, so he's just got to get rid of this one. He does a good job trying to extend the play, and that's something you always think he's going to be good at, is just extending the play. So no complaints on this one. I know it's not a completion; it looks ugly, but sure as hell not his fault there. That was an 8-man pro with nowhere to go with the ball. So is what it is. But this also looks like it's another 8-man protection. So I think I'm not sure where the Bears are. Yeah, they're trying to run tight end leak here. They're trying to run the tight end leak, right? So he is going to run vertical and hopefully clear out the corner and the safety. The tight end is making it look like he's blocking as part of zone boot, and then the tight end's just going to leak out and try to go vertical there. But defense is aware of it. That's also why Caleb Williams doesn't boot all the way here. And I had that question the first time I watched it, to be honest, is why at this point is he dealing with this guy instead of just continuing on his boot? But this is not the guy he's looking to go to. It's the tight end leak coming out here. So that's why he's looking to stay. So, again, not entirely his fault on that one. I think by virtue of the fact that we just saw the Bears run 2 consecutive plays that were 8-man protections, they're trying to limit the number of progressions that Caleb has to go through and allow the longer developing plays where he can lock onto a receiver and just throw into windows and make big throws because he's got a big arm and have heavier protections. That seemed to be their strategy there, but obviously that doesn't work super well here. I would like to see him get rid of the ball at this point, rather than take a sack. Right now, you're in field goal range. You're in 25, so it's a 42-yard field goal. You just turned a 42-yard field goal into, you got tackled back at the 45. That's a 20-yard loss right there. That's not something you can take. An incomplete pass is a much better option than that. So that's not an ideal situation, obviously. Not entirely his fault, but he definitely could have just thrown that one away. All right, let's see what the concept is here. Oh, okay, so they're running the little in off the mic right now. It's a nice concept right here, right? Because the mic is supposed to open a 3. Number 3 is currently over here. So when he widens to that side of the field, once this guy runs inside of him, that's the window. And the running back here should pull the will, meaning we're creating a window, down where the center used to be. Nice concept. Realistically, this short in cut, because that's all it is. This is a 10-yard in, right? This ball is snapped at the 44. And the receiver breaks this in at the 34. This is a 10-yard in. This is not a deep in. This is not one of those long developing concepts. This should be a 3-step drop off of 1 hitch, right? So if this is realistically, again, his footwork's a little off, but this is the back of what a 3-step would have been. This is the timing to 1 hitch. This ball should be thrown right now into that window. You already know the mic is gaining width. You already know he's going to win inside, and as this safety looks to drive on that, he's not going to get there right now. Caleb takes an extra 2 steps right now, and bang, because I happened to use this clip in the Instagram one earlier when I went through that first cut up and I saw the safety drive on that, and it's just, the ball's late. This is a one-hitch throw. This ball is not supposed to be out this long. He ends up taking kind of an abbreviated 5-step drop here as he shifts on those last two, or if you want to call it a hitch, he's already hitching into a progression. And then he's another one and another one. This ball is very late. This ball is very late to allow the safety to play a dig. A lot of defensive coordinators will say if you get those like 4-lock systems or this is not 4-lock, but if you get those 4-lock systems or cover 4 systems, they say the safety should be able to drive on a dig. And we as, offensive guys, as quarterback coach, offensive coordinators say, no, you shouldn't be. We should win that based off of timing. This is the rep that tells defensive coordinators that they can win on that dig with the safety. And in reality, this should have been a completion over the middle here. This ball is late. Now, looking at why the ball is late, it looks like Caleb is looking to avoid pressure. Right? If we go through that, he's looking to find his way into that open window. But realistically, he's right here. He's clean right now. He should be comfortable throwing the ball right here, right now. That's where the ball should go. He ends up taking those extra 2 hitches, and that gives the safety the chance to break that up. That's just a timing issue, on the offensive end there. Man, 3rd and 30. You don't see that very often. All right, little screen, easy completion. Sure. Yeah, I mean, 3rd and 30, what are you going to do? Just throw 4 verts at it? No, you gotta try to come up with something a little more creative than that. Okay, we've got the boot here. Now, damn, that is a throw that jumps off the page right there. Here's a very positive rep. I mean, this is a throw that, even at the NFL level, a lot of NFL quarterbacks can't make this throw. Not at that velocity. That's a really good throw. The boot, he's just getting, the overflood. Nothing complicated here. Just, your regular, boot flood concept. Nothing unusual. He comes out. He's got a guy in his face. And the Titans did a really good job, again, on my first run-through, of making sure that all the boot stuff that it was obvious the Bears were going to do in Caleb's first game, they were ready for it. They had the guy staying for the quarterback. They had the defensive end aware of the fact that, Caleb was going to come back. Man, that's a throw right there. That is a throw that jumps off the page. So, seeing it from the end zone view. That's nice. All right, let's see here. All right, so we get the easy completion. Nice to see a rhythm throw here that we get on the short out. They're just running that high-low on the corner. Nothing overly difficult there. Running the short out from the outside guy, the outside release from the inside guy to try to make sure he's carrying to the overhang player, at least vertical a little bit, rather than letting him outflank him, and also trying to occupy the corner a little bit too. So let's see timing-wise where we are with the feet. Big, little, then the ball comes out. So he is throwing this ball in rhythm. He's doing that quick 3 slide into it, which is what a lot of teams do and on the more perimeter-based plays. So he's taking that big kick initially to get that wide step. Then he's just going to shuffle for 2 and 3 and then get the ball out in rhythm. This is a very positive play. And this is what he needs as much of as possible that the Bears can give him, is the easy rhythm completions. People look at, the Caleb Williams, the Pat Mahomes, the Josh Allen's making all these off-schedule crazy throws. And then if you really break down Pat Mahomes, you see him really make a living on their best drives on a lot of quick rhythm throws by making the easy throws based off of pre-snap reads and good concepts. In order to do that, it requires the ability to make line of scrimmage changes to get out of bad looks and into good looks and stuff. So the more of this the Bears can do and give him easy completions and get him thrown in rhythm, the better off they're going to be. That's a positive rep right there for Caleb. Stringing two in a row right there. Empty. They did run a decent amount of empty. Again, only been through it once, but they did run a decent amount of empty here for them, which is nice to see that they're not holding it too far back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shuffle, and then he's just throwing the slot fade versus man. Right? They're reading this as man, which it is. Just cover 1 with robbers underneath. Looking to create the interception off the false pressure, so to speak. It's not even 1, it's 0. Right? It's 0 with a robber underneath. The free safety turns into a thief or a steal, whatever you want to call him. And they throw the slot fade, which is the right read. This is the correct read from Caleb. This is the right read to throw. Against man, you want to throw that slot fade. That's super popular. Difficult cover for the defense. He definitely has a little bit of a window here, especially because the receiver gets separation width-wise. Right? This ball's coming out right now. Right? This receiver has space right here. So you have to know he is going to win the race to the sideline right now. This is not a particularly accurate throw. This ball's way overthrown and too far inside. Right, this ball's got to be thrown over the outside, out to the sideline, and it's got to be thrown on a little bit more of a line because we're not beating him vertically. The guy's off. We're beating him laterally for width. So this ball should have been thrown out a little bit more towards the sideline here. He almost beats him vertically, to be fair. Looking at the footwork, it doesn't look clean, right? This really should be a three-step and a hitch. So we should be 1, 2, 3, and then one hitch, and the ball should be out probably right about now, to be honest. We can see him taking a couple of extra steps there at the back where it's shuffle, shuffle, plant, shuffle again. And now his left foot is in, his left shoulder's way open, which is what causes the ball to miss to the right. Remember, we said we wanted him to lead it more to the sideline, but he throws it too far inside. That tends to happen when quarterbacks open their left shoulder too early, and then the arm lays flatter out to the right, therefore the ball misses to the right, right? For every force, there's an equal and opposite force. If my left shoulder's too far left, my arm's going to go too far right. I'm going to lose the ball to the right, even if it's just because the nose of the ball is tilting that way. Right, so we can see here that left foot is in, the left shoulder's way open really early mechanically. And this is where someone who's constantly off schedule, perhaps gets himself into a little bit of trouble because he's throwing off of a difficult platform for no reason. Right, and then kind of falling back into it. So this ball's way too far. And it's a little further outside here than what it looked like from the back, but really this ball should have been thrown over here, not over here. He's missing by a good, that ball should have landed here, not there. So he's missing by a good 5 or 6 yards there. All right, quads. Singled up backside, take it. Yup, bang. That's nice. Nice throw. 1, 2, 3, bang, bang. Look at that. That's nice. I love this. Most teams, when they run quads, they're doing it so they can try to isolate backside, which is exactly what they get. They're singled up backside. Caleb just makes sure they're singled up backside. He waits on it just a hair at the back. I'll still call it a rhythm throw. 1, 2, 3, ball comes out off of it. Bang. He drops the arm angle down unnecessarily and all that, but that's a great throw. All that stuff aside. Ultimately, we can talk about mechanics until we're blue in the face, but if the ball goes where it's supposed to go consistently, when it's supposed to be there, then it's all kind of irrelevant. Good throw. Good play right there. And this is where you see, he's got arm strength and talent. It definitely pops. You can see he can play. We just got to learn the structure. Oh, boy. No, don't throw that ball. Yeah. Right, so you see the safety is not really hard in the back pedal. 1, 2, 3... one hitch, come to the backside and throw the in cut. That's safety. He's on that one right there. He doesn't get his eyes across to that. So what he's reading right now is he's got a split field read. He's checking something over here, right? Caleb, as he drops back, we can see his eyes get over to this side of the field. And there's some movement key of some sort that's going to determine, do I want to read these 3 players here, or do I want to work my eyes into the backside pivot concept? Where that's a pretty common backside concept back there. So there's something over here. I don't know exactly what they're reading right now. But there's something over here that's saying, nope, I want to take the backside. So when his eyes come to the backside, he's ready to throw that ball. I will first say that his timing here is very good, right? He's rhythm to the front side, knows that he doesn't want it. He takes his one hitch to the backside and throws an accurate ball to the, I'm not going to call it an accurate ball. He throws an on-time ball to the backside receiver. That part I'm okay with. What I'm not okay with is the fact that when his eyes came back, he didn't locate that this safety is playing low. He's not in a back pedal. He's not getting high, right? He's not gaining for width. This guy is in position to drive on this. This really should be a pick, right? Right? What he should do is pull it down, hitch up, and now look to this guy. Now, in most pivot concepts, he would continue out if that guy's on him right there. Maybe if Caleb looked there, he would have done that. But that ball... that's a little bit of a scary one right there. Oh, bingo. Receiver gets it anyway. Andy fumbles, and now he gets it. Wow, that's one hell of a play right there. So yeah, that ball should have been a pick. Although I like the fact that he's learned to play with timing. What he needs to, now this is where I say he seems uncomfortable, because even though he's playing with timing, he's not getting his eyes to the right spot necessarily. He's not keying the right guy. He's not processing information as quickly on schedule to allow him to be an effective on-schedule passer at this point. That's understandable. It's not meant to be a criticism that he can't be successful. That's understandable, given that he's a rookie and he was an off-schedule passer as a college passer. That's something he'll develop and learn as time goes on if he continues to work on it. Sure, that's nice. All right, short out. 1, shuffle 3, balls out. There's the quick 3, rhythm throw. Awesome. Again, the more of that they can do, the better. That's awesome. That's what you want to see. 1, 2, 3, shuffle, throw the out again. Ooh, that was a good throw. That should have been a touchdown. They took one away from him here. This is good. This is really good. That's a good throw, right? There are some teams, like I've always been scared of throwing that slot out versus man coverage on the goal line. But there are some teams who are very comfortable with it. Obviously, the Bears are comfortable with it. So if that's something you're comfortable with, this is a great throw, and it's the right read if this is the play you're running, right? The corner is giving off, or not the corner, the slot defender is giving us off leverage. So the idea is if you give us off, if we attack you and you settle back, we can get to the sideline before you can, and we trust the quarterback to put it out in front, right? That's the logic here. And he does. He does win the race to the pylon, and the quarterback does put it out in front. This ball should have been caught. This one's on Keenan Allen, unfortunately, who's definitely one of my favorite receivers, but didn't come down with that one. That one should have been a touchdown. Ooh, that was dangerous. All right, so the concept here is one of the boundary. They're just running the snag wheel, right? He's running that slant, and then he's running the wheel off of it. That's what they're looking for right now, and they're looking to get this guy to pick the guy who would potentially be man on the running back, but because they traded off, they don't end up getting that influence, right? The Titans pass off the man coverage look. That blitz got home pretty good there. Center didn't do too good on that one. That is a reverse pancake theory of blocking. Oops. Tough one there. That one's a little bit dangerous. I think Caleb's a little bit late on this throw, to be honest. If he's going to throw that in cut, it's got to be 1, 2, 3, balls out right now, right when the back foot hits. He kind of settles and stutters and then throws it. And he's very reliant. Whenever he gets uncomfortable, he gets really low. Settle, right? He's that shuffle 3. Great back, a little bit underneath him. This you know, and express thing. And work off of him. Caleb's 1, 3, 1 hit. Welcome back. 3. I like where his feet. He looked a little open to that throw. That's the reason why he has to rely on that sidearm release. Away with it. It's a good throw, even if there's some things mechanically that perhaps we'd want to do a little bit differently. Boot. A little pressure there. Yeah, this is boot. player. So, meaning you should be rhythm to the post, and all you're doing is just checking to make sure the safety and corner are indeed clearing with that, and then you should be one hitch to throwing this. So this ball, I'd like to see this ball out right now. Like, this ball should be thrown right now. Caleb takes an extra step there. I'm not going to say that gives the defender time to get there because, it's definitely a wide open play and the block should have been made. This wasn't a great block. That said, he could have done himself a favor by ball's out right now. That's when the ball should be out. Instead, he takes an extra step. And it is what gives the defender time, although that's not a direct correlation. It wasn't great protection on that. Good job by the defender of just, beating the block and winning outside up the field. So, opportunity was there, though. He had the right read. His eyes were in the right spot. Feet were in the right spot. Just, if we want to be hypercritical, he's half a step late, and that matters. Normally, when you take that little extra half step into your throw, 80% of the time it's not going to matter. So kids get away with it. They learn, and then they kind of use it as a comfort object. But we want to get that other 20%. We've already seen a couple instances here where him being a step or two late has been problematic. We've got to capture that other 20%. Quads to this side. Are they looking backside? Oh, Jesus. Whoops. He's gotten lucky on that a couple times now. So I know there's a narrative where, the short quarterbacks or the low arm angle means the ball gets deflected a lot. To be honest, I don't really buy into that. I'm not going to say that him throwing with a low arm angle is why this happens. Normally you don't throw over defenders, you throw between defenders. So I'm not going to say that that's why this ball gets deflected or hold that against him. What I will say is, he's just got to find windows. He's got to get comfortable finding windows from the pocket rather than escaping to find windows, which I think is the transition he's trying to make, to be honest. Like, if this ball hits the defender, it looks like in the elbow, not on the wrist. If this ball is 6 inches higher because the guy releases a little bit higher, it's still deflected. So I don't buy into that. Uh-oh. All right, 3rd and 20. Tough situation for the kid to be in here. 4-receiver concept. They're running double curls to the field with a flat player, so it's basically Hank, is I think what most teams would call that. And then he's looking to isolate on the backside to another curl. Yeah, that's a tough one. Right, they're locking in on the boundary with the steal player. They're rolling 3 to the field here, right? So he's going to end up going to the middle. He's going to go high. He's locking here, and then he's going to step down, or maybe it's 4. Maybe it could be like a 4 solo kind of call right now as well, depending on how this corner plays it. Now, the corner's staying pretty low, actually. But that lock to the backside, coming, like throwing a man curl that deep on that long developing a route is, I think that's a tough ask. It's the play that's called, so that's what he's going to try to do. You don't really want to throw these when you got 3/2 plus a high defender. You already know your numbers don't work, so he's right to isolate back here, but that's a tough concept. That's a tough one here. At this point, seeing how pressed this guy is on him, I wouldn't have minded seeing Caleb just take his outlet, take his check down here. I think that would have been okay, but definitely not all on him on this one. That was a tough ask. Ooh, look at that little tech stunt, right? Occupy, and then loop in. Look, see how he gets his hand in here? He is trying to force that guy back, right? He's flipping him over so that when he comes back through, ooh, center's wrong. Ooh, he knew it too. Oops. All right, so here we're getting a 2nd and 13. That's not a great throw. Yeah, this is stuff he normally excels at, so I'm sure this is one he wish he had back. And you can tell from his reaction there, he knows it. That's one he that would be a nice completion on 2nd 13 to put yourself in 3rd and manageable. You can see the Titans again. They were aware of all this boot stuff. They were ready for it. They're just running the back out to the flat, right? So you're clear, block, and then just put the back in the flat, and you should feel good. If 1 and 2 are going to have to clear with the outside 2 receivers, you're just taking the cheap completion to the back, And that's exactly what you get. You've got the high defender thinking he's got to come down and take the back. This should be, a nice gain of 5 or something and get yourself in a third and manageable. So just missed. It happens, but you don't want it to happen that much at the NFL level. Third and 13. Ooh, okay, so he had this one, right? So they're running double curls with, looks like a converted go on the outside, right? Just kind of the inside double curl. It's a good concept. I've run this before. We ran a double comebacks, not double curls. You're just reading off of this guy, essentially, right? If he stays wide, throw the inside guy. And that's what he does. But again, it's low and outside, and this is where you see that his discomfort with rhythm footwork. He's got such a tilt on that back leg already that there's nowhere for the ball to go but down, right? If that back leg has got a strong tilt when you initiate your throwing motion, well, that's going to take the spine down with it, and it's going to take the angle of the ball down with it. That's just, the biomechanics of it. So you can see here how strong that forward tilt is in his body. Well, that's going to lead the ball down when you throw it. That's why he misses this one low. He also misses it to the right, and those things are connected. That could have been a completion. It's nice to see, though, that he made the correct read and threw the ball in rhythm. Like, there's some timing and structure in this one. He's taking a 5-step and throwing the ball in rhythm. That's okay. That timing and rhythm is pretty good right there. I'm happy with that. He would have, if something had alerted him to the backside, he might have had a free one, but that's not where his keys would have taken him in this case, because he's got 1 covering 2 based on the pre-snap alignment. So even though he doesn't see this, it's not his fault. That's not where his keys would have taken him based on what we're looking at right now, based on how we're reading that play. So, yeah, you can see during the course of this whole game, he's been a little bit inaccurate with the football. Whoops, that's a tough one again. Titans are ready for this boot stuff. I think the Bears needed to get away from this boot stuff. Again, look at the tackle nose. He's coming backside on this. They're not chasing this outside zone action, right? They're going outside zone this way, thinking all these guys have to chase their gap, and none of them are chasing. They're just staying, right? So that outside zone influence on play action that I've talked about in other videos before, the Bears just aren't getting it, and they got to get out of it here. That's tough. Nothing he can do much about that. Not a lot of places to go with the ball on this one. You can see him going through a progression. And, honestly, I know it's not a completion, but this is one of my favorite plays of his so far. You can see him go through his progression, and you can also see exactly where he's aiming and where his eyes and feet are matching. This is a good rep for him, right? Eyes and feet match. He doesn't like what he sees, so he hitches up to the next guy, right? So he went from here to here, didn't like it, and he's right to move on. They're not open. So he moves on to the next guy, who I assume is either him or him. That guy's window is closed here. This guy is obviously covered. So now he takes another hitch, and he goes all the way to the backside, sees this guy. Maybe he could have looked at that, I guess. I don't know. And then he looks to escape. Okay, now is where he can play off schedule. He's gone through his progression. None of the receivers are open. He's got to extend the play. Now get off schedule, and now you can try to make something happen. Right? I think he would have been well served if he had scrambled. I wish he had seen here, but that's the least of the concern when it comes to developing him as a quarterback. When you're in a scramble drill, it's a little bit random. So it's a little bit of a little bit of a crapshoot. So out of all the coaching points, just saying, well, I wish you'd seen the open guy is probably the least helpful one in that particular scenario. He's athletic, no doubt about it, and he makes a good play here too. I think he does. He must get the first here, yeah. He gets the first. That's nice. Always nice to see a quarterback who can use his legs, as he's learning the game. It's nice when you see young quarterbacks who have that additional threat. If we go through the early components of this concept, let's see what they're doing up at the top here. They're trying to run a dagger concept here, but it's definitely not open. There's nothing with that dagger. They're trying to sell vertical with 2 and then run the in-cut underneath it off of 1, but there's no window there, so you really can't throw the dagger on that one. The flat release, well, the corner and overhangs are still there. There's really not. I mean, he could have checked it down to the tight end, but it would have been a 2-yard gain on 3rd and 10. So I'm okay with him extending there if that's why he did it. To the backside, Keenan Allen's running a curl, so they're just running a little curl flat into the backside. Hank into the backside here. I'm okay with this. This is a good play. The concept wasn't there. He scrambled, pick up 12. Awesome. Nice work, kid. Okay. All right, nice to get the screen. Sure, not a lot to break down there. This is stuff that you think he'd be good at as well as someone who throws from unusual positions, just get the ball, get it out. He throws from different arm angles and stuff. That's something he should be good at. Nice. Again, the more the Bears can give him that early throw, timing-based throws and get him comfortable with that, the better off they're going to be. And the more confidence they're going to give him in that component of the game as they go with more complex dropbacks and try to get him going through his progression. Nice, there we go. So now we're seeing something. One, shuffle, short out, bang. We saw that earlier. This is what they've got to do plenty of if they can find it. Right? Quick 3, ball's out, gain of 7 or 8. Life's good. This is what the Bears need to do, and it's nice to see him throw those rhythm throws and get those easy completions. That's got to be... when you draw up your game plan, what are your 10 or 15 throws that you feel your quarterback's going to be able to make in rhythm based on the opponent's, coverages and the estimated situations? That's what you want. Oops. Uh-oh. All right, it's a little bit of a broken play here because he drops the snap. It was a good snap, too. My guess is this ball was supposed to go to the near side on the quick bubble, right? Because the numbers indicate it. You've got 3 here. And the 3 to cover it, it's single high, 1-1. So if you just go block, bubble, that's the easy one, right? So to me, that's where I think the ball was supposed to go. We don't know for sure since he dropped the snap. So, all right, tries to make the hero throw again, but it is what it is. I think it's anything, just getting rid of the ball, in the last moment there. Unfortunately, this is on 3rd and 2. Yeah, it looks like his head initially was going to go that way. Watch, his head looks to the left there, and then he drops the ball. So he was going to throw the bubble, and that would have been a first down. So that's what it should have been. Now he just gets rid of it. All right, 1st and 10. We get another boot. There's a guy there. They're not booting it all the way. Setting up screen. Okay, so that was completely unnecessary. He drops the arm down because that's his status quo. That's his default is to drop the arm when he gets pressure. There's no need to do this. There's no one within 10 yards of this guy. Just throw it over him. You don't need to drop and throw. He's trying. This guy is like, his path to the receiver is here. This guy is standing to the left side of that path, and he tries to drop the arm down and throw it around that guy. That's not necessary. That's one thing where if I was his quarterback coach, coordinator, I'd be a little bit upset. Just throw it over. It's a screen. You don't have to throw around people at belly height. You can throw over people and screen. That's what the vast majority of the league does. I know these sidearm clips are cool, but this is unnecessary. This was an unforced error. This ball should go over that guy. It should not go around that guy. You've got more than enough space, and I got to be honest. If it goes over, you've got a block here. You've got a block coming there. I mean, this dude's going to pick up 20 if he doesn't score. This is a very unfortunate and unforced error. He's late on this. Right, 1, 2, 3. That ball should already be out. It ends up not mattering on this one, but we saw previous snaps where it did. Right, he's 1, 2, 3. Ball should be out. A couple extra stutters, and then the ball comes out. So he's late on that one, but he gets away with it. At least it's still an early progression throw and confidence-based completions. Who's gonna bail? Bail to 2, right? Yeah. Okay, he's looking left here. The concept is hitch from the inside, go from the outside. That ball should have been out to the hitch right now. Right, to the near side. Right, we're getting a cover 2. We can see the 2 high shell. You have to know, even though you're getting the sugar front, based on where the corners and safeties are, the expectation here should be they're going to bail to 2. Which means if they're going to bail to 2, the early hitch to the slot is going to be a high percentage completion. Right, that's where the eyes should go first. And so I'd want to see him go 1, 2, 3, and the ball should just be out right here to number 11. I apologize for not knowing who that is. That ball should be out right here, right now. That's it. Instead, He makes use of his legs, which again is a nice tool to have as a young quarterback. When you're still learning to get through your progressions and how to handle those pre-snap looks. He looks left too. Yeah, that ball should have been out. He might have picked up more on. He only gets 5 on the scramble. He probably would have gotten 7 or 8 on the throw. Tear motion. Throwing it out there. Alert because there's no man out there. Basically, you got 3 you're essentially trips right now, and you only got 2 out there. So pre-snap, you got to throw. This is just an alert. All right, they're leaving the defensive end. They're not necessarily reading the end. They're just making the count. Just throw it out there. That's easy. A little careful. That's almost a backwards pass. Got to be a little careful on that. When you're throwing those flat motions, it's important to teach the quarterback to gain a little bit of depth when he goes into throw if you're not going to get the receiver working towards the line of scrimmage that early, because this ball might be backwards. It's pretty close. So, but yeah, nice to get cheap, easy, complete. I like that play. I'm down for that. Okay. Not Caleb's fault on that one. Ball's out, sure. Try to set up screen. Okay. Swing and a miss on the outside there. All right, back to the beginning. So my thoughts on Caleb, you can definitely see there are some throws that pop off the screen, notably the one where he's booting out and throws it where I kind of stopped and paused. You can see him trying to play in structure and learning to play in structure. You'll see that he's still very much in that learning process. That's 100% okay. I think drafting him at first overall, you'd know that was going to be the case. You're saying we know that he's played his entire college career off schedule, and we're comfortable with the fact that we got to teach him a little bit and get him comfortable playing with some of the structure that the NFL requires compared to what the college game necessitates. And we think we can get him there. And if you can, honestly, he could be fantastic. He's got mobility. He keeps that about him. You don't see any panic in the way he approaches things. We do see a little bit of discomfort right now, but I think that'll change as the season goes on. He'll get more comfortable as he's playing in rhythm. He's got all the talent in the world. My concern, as I mentioned during the draft process when I did like a little scouting report on him, is that, again, you don't see him playing on structure. But in college, you didn't even see him trying to play on structure. In this film, he's definitely trying to play on structure. He's learning. You can see his feet go to the right spot sometimes. Some of the clips that we pulled out said you can see his feet and eyes go through their progression, and he's on structure in the pocket. So you can definitely see he's trying to make that change. So what'll be interesting to see is over the next 5-6 weeks, does it really get comfortable, or is it going to take a year or two? And either thing is okay. You draft a quarterback first overall. You recognize you're going to be rolling with him for 5 years. That's just the nature of the NFL structure. For 4 or 5 years, he's got all the talent. Hopefully he develops in the way that obviously he wants to. And the Bears have their guy. It's been a while since they've, I guess, had their guy. So it would be awesome for them if he turned out to be their guy and he was successful. You're always rooting for guys to be successful. The thing holding him back is just learning how to play with timing, footwork, and structure, and you can see him working on it. So my takeaway from this first game is, yes, he struggled. He was inaccurate at times. There were times when he had unforced errors. He completed a very low percentage of his passes. The passing game, despite having great tools, was at times very ineffective. But there were some promising signs that he's beginning to make the transition that he needs to make. That's kind of the end point here. So those are my thoughts on Caleb Williams. Hopefully this was interesting to watch, and keep trying to put it out there.